This gentleman got 9 million views in just a few days. Well, what he's saying is that he's not happy about the strength of his passport, saying that basically this passport is worthless. I think it's a bit harsh what he's saying, because in the grand scheme of things, the Indian passport isn't that bad, but we're going to explain a little bit about the Indian passport, the benefits you can have, and if you want to get another passport as well.
This thing that I have, it has no value. Our passport is of no use. Entry denied everywhere. Many of you do not travel internationally much, so you do not know how bad the value of our passport is internationally.
Hi, this is Jeremy from the Millionaire Migrant. Here we talk about second passports, citizenship, residency, tax, wealth protection strategies, but also wealth proliferation strategies, including real estate investments all around the world. This clip is of a travel vlogger, an Indian travel vlogger, and what I can see is that he's frustrated about all the different countries he's going to, where he's saying, look, those type of countries, I shouldn't really have to be getting all this documentation together to be able to enter. And he's saying, despite all the money he has, and he has all his documents together, he's saying, and he has a good, strong travel history, because he is a travel vlogger, he's saying that he was denied entry into countries such as Jordan. He's frustrated with getting all his documents together and trying to apply for a visa and getting rejected for his visa, and I can understand his frustration. I don't have that issue, I haven't had that issue, because I have more than one nationality and they're all very powerful passports, but I also know that through my wife, before she got the second nationality, through me and my company, she had a challenge applying for visas. So I do feel his pain. However, I would say that the Indian passport, compared to a lot of other passports, isn't the worst. It's decent, but yes, it isn't Schengen visa free, it isn't UK visa free, and I also want him to understand is that the population of India is 1 billion people. It's not that Thailand and other countries, Egypt he mentioned as well, has a problem with him per se. I think it's just, unfortunately, if you've got a population that large and just a small percentage applies for visas in that country, and you know that some of those people might not be going back, which is always a big concern of these countries, you could understand why by accident or by design he gets rejected. I've also know that I've traveled to almost 100 countries around the world. I have lived in multiple countries around the world. There is a large Indian diaspora in many different parts of the world. I'm talking in Caribbean, in Fiji, in Africa, and a lot of those Indians came there through some sort of immigration. So countries sometimes want to be able to control that to a certain extent. Yes, it is a challenge, but I can tell you it's still a passport. I've dealt with clients who are Palestinians who have travel documents and don't have a nationality, so that is very painful. I've even done biduns, which are people who don't have any type of travel documents at all. So I've dealt with a lot of these experiences through my firm, which is Savory & Partners, which is a multi-government accredited firm. For 15 years we're accredited in 6 countries, so I have a lot of experience in this matter, and I have a very large team that is very qualified in sector. I can even tell you a story of one client that we had who was an ultra high net worth client, and he was going to visit his daughter who was studying in the UK. He went to the airport but was refused entry and was held up for 48 hours. So he had to stay the night in the airport. And as a result of this, he had his daughter who had to buy a flight just to be able to go into the airport. Then she traveled with them, and it was the husband and the wife, back to the UAE. And then after that, she had then to fly back to the UK. Immediately after this, he said, I need to get a second passport. He came to our office and started the whole process. I think at that amount of wealth, he probably should have got a passport a lot sooner, but a lot of people don't really know that they need it until they need it. And this is something that we remind clients a lot, is that sometimes if you already get rejected, so he was refused entry, he wasn't rejected for the visa. He had a valid visa, he went there, but he was refused entry, which can also happen. But a lot of clients, they decide, oh, I don't need the passport until they get rejected for a visa. But we can't help a lot of clients who get rejected for visa. They often have to reapply to get the visa, or we have to take them to another jurisdiction. And this is why we always tell a lot of people, it's like, don't wait till your house is on fire before you buy fire insurance. Like, the whole point is that you do it before. And I keep telling clients this again and again, and a lot of clients listen, and very few don't listen, and by the time they come to us, there's not a lot we can do to help them. There's other reasons why Indian high net worth individuals and people of all wealth strata should also consider to have a second nationality. Banking is something that allows them to, with their second nationality, to open bank accounts in different jurisdictions all around the world with stable banking systems. Travel freedom is another example. I can tell you of experiences where we have clients who live in foreign countries in Africa who are Indian nationals and are being chased for tax when they are completely compliant with their tax, but they're being singled out because of their what can I say, what they look like. They're considered non-African and they become a target, unfortunately. And so they come come to us, say, I need to be able to have access to different banking environments around the world that are outside of Africa, and I don't want to face any kind of prejudice. There are a lot of passports that you can apply for to be able to find a solution around this that will give you a lot of visa-free headache. I mean, this guy had to apply for a visit visa. Now he has a second passport. He doesn't even need to have a visa. He can go to the UK, EU, China, multiple countries, and he never has to apply for a visa again. And this is a citizenship, by the way. So this means that he can pass down to multiple generations. If he has children, the children will marry their spouse, and they will also be able to get it, and their children will also be able to get it. So it's a very small amount for a lot of benefits over multiple generations into a future that we don't even know what's going on right now in the world, let alone in 50 to 100 years' time. Wealth structuring is another benefit. Indians pay a lot of high tax rates, so there could be a lot of advantages in them obtaining a second nationality. Security and lifestyle, political stability, personal security, these are all the other reasons why people obtain second nationalities. A lot of Indians would say, well, you know what, our economy is doing great right now. We're taking advantage of this whole trade war. But at the same time, a lot of people, not too long ago, they're not happy with the way that the people in charge are going. They feel that it's getting very authoritarian. So some people feel like, I don't want to be in this situation where in India becomes a future Russia, where suddenly the guy in charge makes a decision that affects the entire population. The same with China is another example, the US. So a lot of people are realizing that if this could happen to the US, China, Russia, with Turkey, another example, and I could go on and on. The one person in charge can make a decision that truly affects every single person through no fault of their own. They just don't like having agency, and particularly the more money you have, you deserve to be able to make decisions that you can have full control and full authority over what you can do without somebody that you have no business with deciding the fate of you and your family. If you did want to give up your nationality, if you're an Indian national, then what would happen is that there's a process where you'd renounce your nationality and you become an OCI, which means an overseas citizenship of India. This is a little bit different to renouncing American citizenship, to give you an example, in terms of what they'll do is they'll give you a card that allows you to re-enter India in a very straightforward manner. You can take a lot of advantages. There's certain limitations that there's certain business sectors you can't go to, there's certain types of land that you can't invest in, but you still get afforded a lot of luxury. But a lot of Indians, I can understand, are very patriotic, and they don't really see the need to give up their nationality, because one of the main reasons that Americans are doing it increasingly more and more is because it's citizenship-based taxation. So the balance between patriotism and your net take-home after tax becomes a very complicated question. So Indians aren't quite in that ball camp, but if they did introduce citizenship-based taxation, I'd be a very, very busy man. In summary, looking at this whole video, you can understand his frustration. I don't think it's as bad as he says it is, but I can understand the feeling of dejection and rejection when you prepare all your documents and you apply for a visa and you feel that you've been wrongly done by. So I can really truly sympathize with him. What I would tell to people is that go to millionairemigrant.com, where you'll understand all the citizenship options for you, residency options, digital nomad visas, golden visas as well, UAE and European golden visas, the like. I would say one thing I have noticed is that Indian nationals typically, largely, although a lot will do second passports, so direct to second passports, so residency and citizenship by investment, a lot of them also do the slow burners, which is a residency path, business migration, moving overseas, but also if we use residency by investment, they want to make sure that they get a really, really strong passport, e.g. a European passport, for example. But what they want is they want to do something that means that at that point, I can start the process now, and I don't have to give up nationality. But if I do end up getting a Portuguese or Greek or European nationality, then I'm happy to give up my Indian nationality, because now I have one that gives me zero problems for traveling in most countries around the world. You don't need to give up your nationality if you don't want to. It is an option. I have noticed a lot of clients look at different options in knowing that they can start the process for something else. What I would say is that if you have any questions, we have been doing this for 15 years. We have processed a lot of Indian nationals, whether they've given up or not, that's their business. Our service is done, but we have helped hundreds of families around the world, thousands actually. We're over 2,000, close to 3,000 families in total, which means 11 to 12,000 citizens that we have helped from all different nationalities, not just Indian. But if you'd like further clarification about obtaining a second passport or renouncing citizenship, give us a comment and we'll come back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. This is Millionaire Migrant.